All right. Feeney Talks with Friends, episode 68. 68. We're moving right along, almost at 70. 68 rounds of 70. Third grade math for you. All right, and this is Feeney Talks with Friends. My name is Eric Feeney, founder and president of Friends of Feeney. Our mission is to help children and families that have heartbreak or tragedy. And I use this podcast, Feeney Talks with Friends, and I talk to wonderful people that are doing great things in the community. And Kate does wonderful things in the West Hartford and Newington community, the 20th district.
That's right.
How's it going?
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, it's fabulous on this snow day. I'm glad we can join together after you've had a lot of sledding and I've had some shoveling to get to talk about the awesome things that we're so proud of in our community.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just a quick review. Colleen Conway was episode 67, and this is Owum. Oh, I've been practicing. Owum.
You got it.
It's O-G-H-M-A. Owum. But because of the Gaelic lettering, there's no Y's, so that's an I for Feeney, and it's read from down to up. But this is an amazing, and she made this custom made. She usually doesn't do these colors, so this is our right on brand with our Friends of Feeney. And I said, hey, what's the Owum symbol for a hashtag? Haha, get it? But they didn't have hashtags back then.
No hashtags back in the day.
OWUMArts.com, an amazing podcast, so much fun. We played Jeopardy. We talked about Ireland and Waterbury. She's from Waterbury, just like me. So it was a wonderful podcast. Go back and check it out, number 67. But we are here with Kate, 68 with Kate.
That's right.
It's going to be great.
We're going to keep going with the rhymes.
We could go sledding and ice skate. So let's get right into it. We have sponsors. I'd like to thank, again, Kyle and Dave from Direct Line Media. We're here at Gastro Park, 437 New Park. We have Keating Agency Insurance, The Fix IV, Brook Golf Law, West Hartford Lock. I think I got them all. And speaking of which, West Hartford Lock, 3 keys that make you a great state rep. What are 3 keys that make you...
3 keys? I feel like I should be asking you as my constituent rather than thinking about that myself. I think for me, I guess if I was to kind of self-describe, kind of going to my strengths, I really try to be accessible and communicative and just a good listener at the end of the day, because I think those are really things that go into being a good state rep. Often people think that as a state representative you're supposed to have all the answers, whereas on the flip side it really is about listening and staying in touch with our community so I can best advocate for all of us.
Nice. So yeah, speaking of being in touch, we can share your 860-240-8585 if you want to contact Kate, and kate.farrar@cga.ct.gov.
You got it.
What's CGA?
CGA is the Connecticut General Assembly,
Okay.
so
Yep.
what's referenced as our official title of the state legislature here in Connecticut.
Nice. Have you proposed any fun bills recently or laws that you're...
Ooh, yeah.
We're going to get right into it. Let's go.
Fun bills. I like it.
Or maybe not so fun. Or...
Well, there's a lot of bills, as you can imagine, in any legislative session. There's actually upwards of over 3,000 bills that get proposed in any legislative session, and only a few hundred will end up passing. But for myself, this is my second term in the legislature, and there's a couple bills actually that always come up that are really constituent-driven, meaning that they're bills that really serve our local community members. And one of them actually came to me because of our extensive Nepalese population that's in West Hartford. And I know you have a lot of students in Wolcott School as well that are Nepalese. And so we actually have a bill this session that's trying to make sure that our Nepalese population and a range of new refugee groups can access the driver's license test in our state. One of the things that a lot of immigrants and refugees find is it's hard to kind of integrate into living in Connecticut, in our community, without a driver's license. So we're trying to make sure that our Department of Motor Vehicles offers a range of other testing options for English language learners so they can really be more embedded in our community.
So is it translated to Spanish? And
yeah. Exactly. There's
But
about
it's not
10
in
languages
Nepalese.
so far that we have in the state, but we're really looking to expand that because, it can really be a barrier for folks being able to not just get around, but to have jobs and, again, kind of fully support their families in our state. But I think it's just a great way, kind of an example of, again, trying to kind of listen to great ideas that come out of our community. And
Yeah.
this was something that our Nepalese community came to me with. So we've been running with it, and we just had a public hearing on it a little over a week ago, and we're formulating the next steps for the language of the bill to come out of the Transportation Committee.
It's fantastic. Makes me very happy to hear that. I love that. What about Diwali? Are we going to try to get no school on Diwali,
Oh, great
or what?
question. So at the state level, I have to say it hasn't come up as a statewide holiday, but at the local level, I know the West Hartford School Board is addressing it and will likely address it. So we've really kind of seen it's been kind of town by town based on the population.
Yeah, someone just came out and announced that they're taking it off. Maybe Middletown or Newington.
Yeah, Newington's actually
Yeah.
celebrated Diwali and took it off as a holiday in the last year. So I know West Hartford's looking at that too.
It's the Festival of Lights, and they do
It
these
is.
Wonderful rangoli with the chalk in the corners, and it's very colorful holiday, special day. So I haven't partaken, but I got a Diwali gift from one of my students. It's special candy. I can't think of the name right now, but awesome day, lots of fun. And, as a teacher, we need more days off. Today was a great day.
You'll take it. I will
Snow,
say,
Diwali.
actually, one of the things that's happening and does go into effect this year is Juneteenth being a state holiday.
Oh, nice.
That was something we passed last year as a legislature, and so that actually is going to be a statewide holiday this year.
So when you say statewide, so no mail, no garbage, or?
That's right. So really
'Cause it's a
following
summer,
the
so it
state
doesn't affect
closures.
teachers.
Right, exactly. So sorry, no extra day off for you personally, Eric.
I'm still very happy to celebrate.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully, again, when we kind of think about a state holiday, it's yes, an opportunity often for folks to have the day off, but often we have celebrations in
Yeah.
our towns and our cities so that people can really reflect and be a part of celebrating what that day means.
Yeah, and West Hartford has a wonderful Juneteenth celebration. I've
We
been
do.
there every year. Ace puts
Yes,
it on.
yes. Adrienne Billing-Smith. Yep.
She was a podcast guest maybe 5 or 6 episodes ago.
Great.
Wonderful guest. Fantastic basketball player.
Yes, she has many skills.
Very talented, very
Many
talented.
skills.
And then she collaborates with Matt Conway from Rise Up, future guest. So Juneteenth is special, and I will be there this year
Awesome.
again. And no wonderful time. You go to the Juneteenth, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And it was, I think, just very memorable in the unveiling, I think, of the mural that we have in the center
yeah.
of town now that really is an extremely powerful representation of really the struggle and now, again, the celebration of a day like Juneteenth.
yeah,
And
it's beautiful.
incredible role models that we have in our own community,
Yeah.
especially my colleague, Representative Tammy Exum. So it's always thrilling. I know she gets a little embarrassed seeing her face so big on that mural, but I think it just speaks to, again, kind of the role model
I haven't
she
reached
is
out
in
to
our
Tammy,
community.
but Jillian said she's going to be a guest.
Great.
I saw Tammy at the Pride event, and I asked her, she got a shirt, and so she's going
Yeah.
to be a guest, but
Awesome.
haven't really followed up. Just wonderful state reps, you, Jill, Tammy, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Corey Payne does the murals. Corey
Yes,
Payne's a
he
West
does.
Hartford guy.
Yes.
Went to Conard. He could probably be seen at Jerry's Artorama. Guy's there almost every day, covered in paint, and he does beautiful artwork. So most murals you see around West Hartford are Corey Payne's. Hopefully a guest too. So, so I've been a teacher for 19 years. 9 where I went to school. I went to Kingsbury School and went back to be a teacher. Mrs. Jarrell was my 5th grade teacher. She was the principal who hired me when I was a teacher, so that meant a lot. Then I got hired in Wolcott, 10 years, same school my daughters went to. Dream come true. Do you have a favorite teacher?
I do. And it's similar age group to where you teach. I was reflecting on this a little bit, and I couldn't help but think of my fourth grade teacher. So I actually grew up in Connecticut, but I grew up way out in the northwest corner in Norfolk, Connecticut.
Okay.
So very small town, just 2,000 people. And my elementary school, I had 20 kids, just 20 of us that I went through all of sixth grade with. But in our fourth grade was Mrs. Hennig. And I have to say, what is so memorable about her and my fourth grade experience was she really engaged us in such a creative way. There was one project we had in fourth grade that became kind of infamous in our childhoods, which was back in the day, it was all about the VHS and the VHS camera. What she did was she set up the VHS camera in our classroom, and she tasked us each with coming up with someone that we were going to do a biography on, but not just do a biography. We actually had to show up in class and be that person on camera and present ourselves as if we were that person and telling our life story. And I have to say that, she kind of, didn't give much direction beyond that and really let us kind of go wild, creativity-wise, and didn't give us many other rules. And I have to say, what I remember so fondly about that was just the ability for all of us to kind of dig into people that we just thought were incredible and super cool and really a part of our lives at the time. So I just remember my classmates, standing up in front of the classroom and being Michelangelo, or at that time, one of our, kind of
a Ninja Turtle,
figure
right?
skaters, or a Ninja Turtle, right? And of all people, I have to say at the time, I was very into tap dancing. So I actually chose Fred Astaire, and, did my own little tap dance, on the VHS camera. And I count it as very memorable because, as you can imagine, as fourth graders, not only was it extremely nerve-wracking to get up in front of the camera, but then you were just laughing uncontrollably at your classmates as they were trying to do this. And I just, got so much out of it in regards to not only learning about, who I was biographing, which was Fred Astaire, but I just learned so much from my classmates about all of the people that they inhabited in that, and really felt like we could, again, kind of express ourselves in very different ways around each other and be in a space that really celebrated that. So I always remember it so fondly, and as you can imagine, that VHS tape became just, a laughing
Now, did everyone get a copy? Or?
No, well, see, this is the thing. At the time, we definitely all had copies of that VHS tape. I wish I could say I know where one is to this day, but it would be fantastic. But even now, kind of when I have class reunions, which we tend to have every 5 years as our high school class, when I see the students that were in Norfolk's Botel Elementary School together, we always come back to that fourth grade biography project and kind of the embarrassment that came a part of it. Yep.
That's great. We did a video freshman year, Wilby High School. Coach Chesky's class is like health and it was like a drug awareness, and it's on video. And still 10 years later, someone said something to me because for some reason there was a drug sale or something, and they pushed me out of the chair and took my sneakers, and they were like, "That's what you get for doing drugs." And it's on a video, and I fell down. And I don't know if it was supposed to go down like that, but people laugh still. Like, Feeney, remember when you fell out of the chair and we took your sneakers?
But it's really, I'm sure you think about this as a teacher. Sometimes as students, we are told that we have to follow certain steps or kind of follow the rules. And I think what I love about reflecting on that particular assignment is she just let us kind of run free and really be so self-directed in our learning. And I think that's what makes it so memorable.
Nowadays, they call that genius hour. You're like, find a topic that you're really interested in and go do whatever you want. And like, as the teacher, when they ask you for something, you should just say yes. Like, can I do construction paper? Yes. Can I go on the computer and research? Yes. Can I record? You just let them kind of grow and do all their self-learning on their own. So Genius Hour, and she was doing it.
She was doing
many
it.
years ago.
She was doing it many years ago.
You still in contact with your teacher? You think?
With her, I have not been in contact for a few years. But when we were all last in contact, we definitely, several of us had highlighted this particular memory that we have of her. Yeah.
And then, that's great. Do you, so Norfolk?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, right north of Torrington. You're gonna have to get out there, Eric.
All right.
get out in the middle
Borrington.
of nowhere, Connecticut.
Will be my high school. We played Torrington in football.
Yes,
So
yes, you definitely
Norfolk.
did.
So is that by South Kent and Hotchkiss?
South Kent is a little further west.
Okay.
So Norfolk is kind of north of Torrington, and so we're kind
Still
of
on Route
between
8 or no?
Torrington and the Massachusetts border.
Oh wow.
So it's also west of Winsted and Coldbrook.
Nice.
Yes. So
And
West Hartford and Newington is, metropolitan for me growing up in Norfolk.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were recently in Wolcott Elementary School. How was
I
that?
was.
You didn't come visit.
I know.
What grade were you working with?
Well, we were picking up, as you referenced, I believe it was from the second and third graders. And was your class involved?
It wasn't third grade.
Oh, maybe it was.
Or was
just
it third grade?
It might, or maybe it just wasn't your class. That's possible.
Man.
I know wonderfully my outreach aide at the Capitol worked with a few classrooms in Wolcott School over the past few weeks to really prepare these notes that we gave to our West Hartford firefighters for Random Acts of Kindness Day. And I know that's an important day often for Friends of Feeney too. So we put together these notes of thanking the firefighters with some kind of Valentine-ish candy and delivered them to the two stations that are in the 20th District, the station on New Britain Ave and the station on Berkshire Ave.
I got your, printed out your email.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so I send
I get the
weekly emails. Thank you, Eric. So anyone out there that wants to be kind of in the know of what's going on legislatively or what's going on in our community, we really try to put everything together in a weekly email. So you can sign up easily by emailing me or going to my website.
Do you have a team that helps you with that?
Actually, so I kind of draft this with my press aide at the Capitol, and we formulate it together and make sure that we're kind of covering all the highlights of every week that's going on.
Yeah, Anna Reynolds Elementary School. That's in Newington, I'm
That's
guessing.
in Newington,
Yep.
yes. Yeah, so we
So
did
special
it between
treats and special notes. That's
special
really
treats and
cool.
special notes. I have to say it's particularly meaningful, I should say. I've done this 3 years now with the firefighters, but I now have a firefighter actually in my household. My husband during COVID has become a volunteer firefighter
No
over
way.
in Farmington. So West Hartford has a career force, but we live close enough to the Farmington South Street station. And so I have this whole other level of knowledge now, I feel like,
good old Cham.
of what firefighters are up to.
I had the application. My friend Frank was a volunteer because I'm close by right there too, right around the corner by like Wendy's.
Yes, exactly.
You can volunteer there.
Yeah,
I was thinking about doing it, but they were like, as a teacher, you're getting calls in the middle of the night, and but you could only go. And I had a military background, and Chan's doing it.
He's doing it.
Good for you,
He's
my man.
doing
I like
it.
that.
I know, he's doing it.
That's so cool. How many calls has he done so far?
Oh my gosh, hundreds. Because, I mean, every week there's, several dozen, and you kind of go, as you said, like when you can.
Yeah.
But it really is, again, kind of a fascinating insight into what's going on in our community, because for the Farmington station that he serves, about 70% of the calls are medical. And very few related particularly to fire, right? So that's
a lot of CPR.
Yeah, so that's what led him, and I know a bunch of other volunteers in other departments around the state to often get their EMT licensure first, because that comes in very handy.
Yeah.
So
wow, what made him do that?
I have to say, he's always dreamed about being a firefighter. So speaking of things you've wanted to do since you were a kid, it's something he's always wanted to do.
So cool.
And luckily, again, because of COVID, and just having more time that he's physically been
I still know
around.
where my application is at home, my Farmington application.
This could inspire you, Eric, to rethink
Chan, you're
about
inspiration to me.
rethink about
Our
it.
next guest, Marcia Adele.
Yes, she's
a
our fire
firefighter.
marshal.
Fire marshal.
Yes.
She's coming on. I think she's right after you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Marcia is an inspiration unto herself, yeah, for all that she's achieved in being a firefighter and really
Yeah.
breaking so many barriers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's making a name for herself and moving up the ranks, and I'm really excited. She has twins, just like
Yes,
me,
yes.
so we'll talk twins.
Yeah.
Wonderful person. I'm looking forward to meeting with her. You brought up firefighters. That's great.
Yeah.
She's been on the job for maybe 20 years. And she has political background too, right?
She was, I know she's on our Democratic Town Committee.
Yep.
But I don't know if she's been on, I know she's been on some boards and commissions too. Yeah, yeah. But yes, she's very actively involved, again, in all sorts of ways, but especially as a firefighter.
Yeah.
But yes, if anyone's out there and even thinking about, a way to serve, as you know, we need so many more volunteers.
And you get like
for our
70 cents a
service.
call, right? Or something crazy. It's pretty cool. Chan's killing it. If he did the 100, so $7.
Yes, yes. As you know, not about the money, about the service.
Making a difference.
About the
He's all
service.
about making a difference.
Yeah.
That's very cool. All right, let's play a game.
Awesome.
We got lots of games.
Okay.
Oh, well, first of all, I want to thank you. Not only are you a state rep, but you have supported Friends of Feeney in the past, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
You've attended almost every toy drive that we've ever had at Sockstarz, so thank you so much, and your generosity and your coming by and making a quick Facebook video and helping advertise and promote. So here's 2 picks.
Absolutely.
There, that was
Well, you all, again,
2020, I
you
think.
immediately kind of always galvanize and organize yourselves to meet the needs. So whenever I see that you all are putting an event together, it means there's an immediate need in our community. So
And-
always happy to
And
promote
then this was, I
and
think,
support.
this year, or maybe it's the same year. No, it was different years.
I think it was a different year. I know.
No,
We're
that
all
was-
in COVID brain.
I see 2 masks. I'm wearing a different shirt, so that's cool. Yeah, no, you were great. It says, show care for our kids. Friends of Feeney collecting toys for children of all ages at LaSalle today until 4. Thank you, Eric, for leading kindness. See, back to kindness. Throughout our community, Wolcott School, yeah. And we've helped families and delivered, I think we'd helped this year 20 families of all ages, and just continue helping, making a difference. That's all it's
awesome.
about, and being
Yeah.
a good friend.
Yeah. And what you might not know since we last connected is I've always certainly worked in the nonprofit sector, so I'm also still actually working part-time at Connecticut Foodhshare.
Ah.
So that's where I'm kind of spending time outside of my state representative role now.
Nice. What's your role?
So I'm working directly with the team as a strategy coordinator. So we're really implementing what is a brand new strategic plan for the organization, really trying to make sure that the organization is getting into all the communities that have
That's great.
a high need, really trying to take on more efforts for culturally preferred foods. So we're meeting the needs of so many neighbors, and also just getting at a lot of the root causes of hunger in our communities.
Yeah.
So that, we know there's just been tremendous need ever since the pandemic. And so I'm just been thrilled to be a part of the team there for a little over a year.
Al Marino?
I do know Al,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Love
yes.
Al.
Yeah.
Al's a good friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yankee fan, great person, part of the chamber.
Yep.
And then Jason followed up. I want him to be a podcast
Yes,
guest.
he'd
I
be a
sent
great
him an
guest.
email.
He'd be a great
Reminds
guest.
me to follow up. I got to follow up about the email
Yes.
to get him on the podcast. Yeah, he's very animated, passionate, loves his job,
Yeah.
and does it very well.
He does.
Because that's Connecticut Foodhshare is thriving. That's cool that you do that.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were with Connecticut Women Education Labor Fund.
So close, so close. Yes. I think we first met when I was executive director of the Connecticut Women's Education and Legal Fund.
Legal Fund.
Yeah, so very close, very close. Yes.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, and I was doing that, leading the charge across our state on a lot of gender equity issues before running for this role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's it going? Since November 2020. How's it been?
I know. It's
And
been
only in
quite
that
a
time you've been
whirlwind.
2 legislative cycles since November 2020?
So right, we have a legislative session we have it really the first half of every year, but our terms are 2 years. So I've basically completed one term, and I'm in the midst of this second term.
Gotcha.
And we started session in January, and so we are in the midst of a lot of public hearings, again, on all of the range of bills that have been brought up by legislators across the state.
Now, there are 4 bills. These are random. Can I bring them up and
Please.
talk on them?
Let's do it.
Let's see. I got them on the phone, and I got them. One is about regionalizing schools.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
What's your take on let me see if I can
Well, I'm
get it.
curious what at the heart of being a legislator, you always want to know what the actual language
Okay,
of the
gotcha.
bill
Oh, you got
is.
it.
Okay, what is it?
All right, that's one. All right, so this is from Looney,
Okay.
11th District.
Okay.
Where's Looney?
He's down in New Haven.
New Haven?
New Haven and Hamden.
An act to encouraging local school districts to regionalize. It's a section, reduce the reimbursement. So if you have less than 25,000 residents and you're not a member of a regional school district, I don't know, you can, it's A, B, C, D,
Lots
1,
of sections
2.
to it. Well, I think, again, having kind of read the bill, I'm assuming what the bill is trying to get at is how can we, especially in districts that have few students, encourage that they are coordinating with other districts.
Yeah.
As someone, again, growing up in Norfolk, we had a regional school district. So I went to Norfolk for school till 6th grade, but then middle school, high school, we went to a regional school.
Yep.
So I'm imagining what he's trying to get at is how to ensure that, some of these local schools that might have interest in, kind of regionalizing even at a higher grade level are thinking about that and incentivized to do that. And one of the reasons I know that often comes up is, when we think about the services, especially for kids, sometimes when schools lose population, they can't keep up a lot of the services for the kids because of the budget needs of those towns. So sometimes, there's interest in regionalizing, from those students and from those parents because they're losing out on services. So I'm not sure what the bill does around incentivizing, but I would hope that schools are just kind of open to what more they could offer their students by thinking about regionalization.
Oh, because I'm cool with it, but I thought it was like maybe being the Hartford region. So we all went to a school like
so.
West Hartford, Bloomfield, and you kind of make. But
Yeah,
like
it's
Woodbury, Connecticut per se. My friend, kids go there, and there's like, it's called like District 15.
Right, exactly.
So they all Pomperaug, Nonawag, and they all go to different. That's the only district.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Have you heard about this one, or no? Not yet.
I haven't, I should say, especially because I imagine it's in the education committee. I'm not on the education committee.
Gotcha.
So what tends to happen for us as legislators is, as House members of the legislature, we tend to be on 3 committees. And if you're a state senator, you tend to be on 5 or 6 committees. And you'll often know the most, as you might imagine, about what's happening in those committees. And then you try to stay aware of what's happening in other committees as bills come forward. But often we don't pay attention to the bills until after they're voted out of committee, because that kind of distinguishes bills that have a better shot, long term. So I would really look at to see if this bill had a public hearing, and then if it got voted out of committee, that's when I would probably kind of start paying attention to learning more about it, so that I would know more if it was going to come forward for a full vote.
Okay, that makes sense. And learn something a little bit about the procedure.
Yeah.
Just a bill, just an ordinary bill, sitting here on Capitol Hill. Oh,
That's right.
you know what that's from?
Oh, yes. How a bill becomes a law.
And so this is from Steinberg,
Okay.
136.
Okay.
You know where that is?
I do. Down in Fairfield County.
An act concerning emission standards for gas-powered home appliances and establishing a loan fund for replacement of such appliances. So this is to reduce emissions from gas-powered home appliances.
Yes.
Is that like stoves, microwaves?
Yes. So again,
Not gas, obviously, Mike's, but
yeah, stoves primarily. This is likely in the Energy and Technology Committee, which Representative Steinberg chairs. So in the legislature, we have it's joint committees. So a House member and a Senate member will both chair a committee. And this bill, again, my awareness of it is that there has been some research about the emissions that come off of kind of gas-powered products in
Makes
your
sense,
home,
yeah.
can be detrimental to your health. And so it's certainly something that we've had in our lives for many years,
Yeah.
but there has been some research on this. So I think what this bill is trying to do is, again, provide a fund that if you were replacing, again, that gas-powered item, let's say a stove in your home, that you could have funding in order to replace it.
Okay.
Again, not something that has been probably talked about significantly as as a big public health issue, but it definitely has come about with more research lately that it's something to be aware of. And I think he's just trying to come up with a solution of how to make sure that
Makes
people can
sense.
replace their stoves.
And, all right, so this is Michael, Rep. Maybe Michelle or
Michelle,
Michael.
yes.
An act concerning fair chase and hunting. So, amendment to require hunters to wear blue garments and prohibit the use of orange and pink blazers to promote fair chase of hunting. I guess you don't really have to speak on that. All right, maybe the color. Do animals see blue different than they see orange and pink? Or are you
I don't know.
on the hunting committee?
No.
Is there a hunting committee?
There's no hunting. There's actually a men's
game?
sportswomen caucus.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're looking at this bill. Representative Michelle actually represents an area down in Stamford, and he's a part of the Animal Rights Caucus. So I also imagine this is why he's put this forward. So you're probably right. There's probably some connection around blue and animals that we're not aware of.
Because all the hunters wear the big orange hats,
Yes.
orange vests.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or they wear camo.
Or they wear
I would
camo.
maybe
Yeah.
say don't wear the camo. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about hunting.
As you can tell, one of the key things about being a legislator is that you do need to remain just curious, because all these bills you're bringing up, it kind of generates all these questions.
Yeah.
All these questions that you don't know the answer to, and it makes you kind of dig into issues that you don't know a lot about.
All right, last one. Then
Yeah.
we'll play a fun game
Okay.
after these.
This is fun to me. So
This is fun. All right. This is cool. This is what you do, obviously, right? I'm glad I got this because
Yeah.
I did a quick little Google search on some new bills. And
Yeah.
All right. Rep. Candelaria.
Okay. Candelaria. Yep.
Am I saying that right? Resolution proposing a state constitutional amendment concerning voting rights for certain residents of the state to allow undocumented immigrants that are residents of the state to vote in municipal and state elections.
Okay. Yes, I am familiar with this bill. We've had.
Where's she from? Where's Rep?
He is down in southern Connecticut, down in kind of New Haven, Bridgeport area.
So you interact with all the state reps.
We do.
And
Yeah.
would you pass a law for your district only?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes will he need you on his side to help pass this, or then?
Great question.
Yeah.
So for any bill, it's always better to have a coalition of your colleagues behind a bill rather than doing it alone. Not just for the votes, but really to get to the point where you could even get a vote. Because in the legislative process, we could propose a bill, but you have to actually have it heard in a public hearing in a committee, and then you need to have it voted out of that committee, and then you have to have enough support amongst your colleagues for it to be even considered for a vote on the floor. So it definitely is about, kind of building a coalition of supporters. And what you'll find with most bills that we pass in the legislature, the vast majority of them are bipartisan. We don't often hear about that in the news because it's not controversial.
Yeah.
but what you'll end up finding is that often bills as well, like this one from the representative, it might start out with certain language, like in this proposed form, but then by the time we vote on it, it might look very different because he may have taken into account feedback, from other legislators or members of the public that will change the bill by the time we vote on it as a
Gotcha.
full House or Senate. So this bill, like several others this session, I think was trying to kind of get at how we create greater access to voting in our state. There's also a bill actually to reduce the voting age to 16, which is
Oh, wow.
a really interesting concept. I've talked with some
Who
Connard
proposed
students
that one?
about. I'm not sure who proposed that one. It's been proposed a few different years. But
16.
Yeah, 16.
What's your take on that?
I actually would be supportive of it because I think, the more that we kind of engage folks in kind of the democratic process and what it means to be a part of kind of civic engagement and what it means to have a civic duty as a voter. In speaking with Connard students over the years, I think, they want to kind of see their voices heard, and that when we kind of look at all of the issues that we face, in some ways you could kind of make the case that our young people, are even more invested in what our world's going to look like in 50 years, especially if you think about issues about our climate.
Yeah.
Some of our young people, rightly so, kind of look at what we've done and say, why have you not done more? I'm the one who's going to have to.
And it'll affect me more
right,
because I'll be here.
It'll affect me more.
Wow.
So, I think that we do have to, really look at how our youth can be a part of, what our democracy looks like.
I think I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you.
I know you'll have to test it out with
I know.
your students, see what they think about
My
it.
girls will be 16 soon,
Yeah.
so maybe that's funny. Well, thank you for sharing about
Yeah.
proposed bills. I learned
course.
something new. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always trying to learn something new, and very interesting stuff.
Yes, very
And
interesting.
Busy job. Constantly reading, researching,
It is.
talking to folks. And
It is, yeah. And I have to say, as someone who, I kind of had an experience of being an advocate on the kind of the outside, often advocating for certain issues over the years to legislators. And so that was helpful because I understood the process. But now, again, kind of putting on the legislator hat, you realize just how much you have to take in so many different perspectives and constantly kind of be evaluating what your constituents think, what the research says, what your own personal values are, what is better for your district and the state, right? Like you're kind of weighing all those things on a regular basis to try to make the best decision.
yeah. Well, I think it's great. And then all this talk, and I had a long day of shoveling. I shoveled. First, you got to,
Just your driveway, Eric, or
first you got to broom off the cars.
you do.
And then I broke out I inherited my father-in-law's snowblower, which is a
lucky
mean
you.
machine. It's like the
Lucky you.
Cadillac of snowblowers. So I'm going along, doing great, and my wife's like, Kathy's. And I'm like, really? She suggested I do the neighbors. So
You're all about kindness,
being
Eric.
a good
This
friend,
seems
I
like the
couldn't
way to
say
go.
no.
This
And I'm like,
seems
all
like a
right,
part of your
fine.
brand.
But this thing went across the street, and her driveway's huge. It goes around the back, just boom, boom. I was like, and then Liz came over and thanked me. I was like, well, you really should thank Nicole because she suggested I do this. I don't know if that was a good answer, but I said, I have to take care of Kathy. Kathy's a wonderful neighbor. We love her. Like, she's known the girls since they were born. Knitted sweaters for them, and just a fantastic person, great neighbor, great friend. So I had to do it. But then I was already outside, and the girls, being in high school, I'm like, hey, you want to go sledding?
Right.
Maybe you'll see some friends. Had to fish around the shed, and the shed's lawnmower stuff here, tent stuff here, stepping over the golf clubs here to get the...
But you found the sleds.
Found the sleds.
Okay, thank goodness.
So my cheeks might still be a little red, but then we sled. And then, we had to build a ramp. And they dared me to go down it, and I'm getting a little older now to go on a ramp so you got the snow tube with the air.
Yeah.
Safe, cushion.
Yeah.
Or the hard ones, I got a bad back. I can't break my spine on a day off of snow days. But I did it. I had to show off. The girls got it on video.
Right, exactly.
And then I see a bunch of former students or current students and parents. It's just a great day.
Especially because we haven't had a snow day this year.
We need at least one.
We need, we need a couple more in.
Well, we had one on December 23rd, the Friday before Christmas.
Oh.
No snow.
Okay.
Not a drop, but they canceled out of precaution.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
But this is a real deal snow day.
Yes.
So I had a long day, and I'm hungry, but I like to eat some food with you and try some food.
I would love it.
This is Doro.
We love Doro.
Doro, Scott Miller.
Yes.
Podcast guest. Awesome. Supporter.
And they just opened their second location.
Windsor,
up
right?
in Windsor, by the airport.
So we got the mozzarella tomato sandwich.
Ooh.
These are both cut in half. And then we got the fig and pig prosciutto on a croissant.
Nice.
Scott Miller and Dorian. So when Scott was a cook, they called him Scotto, and when Dorian was cooking, they called him Doro. So they were like, hey, that's like how they talk. Every chef, they just put an O at someone's name. And so they
you'll
took
be
that.
Erico, and I have to be Cato or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's where Doro came from. But this is, so we got that.
Oh, amazing.
We got.
Do you have a favorite item there? Because I definitely have my go-to items at Doro.
I will not go and leave without the hummus, pita, and olives to go.
Yes.
Like I get that every time.
The hummus is
fantastic.
The best. Because people don't realize that it's the Zahara hummus.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like that. That's the connection that we often have to make.
And then we got the pizza.
Got the pizza.
Cut in half again. We got some for Kyle. And
Kyle's gonna win on this.
Yeah. And then the best are the Nutella croissants.
Oh yes, I know. That's.
And then
what
I
might
asked to
have
cut
go
those in
for.
half.
Yeah.
But they said,
it
you
would
spill
ruin the croissant if you cut those in half.
The reveal. But again, fantastic place. They own Treva, Aver.
Yes.
ABC, Artisan Burger Company in Manchester. But yeah, we just went to Zahara.
Yep.
And then when you're at Zahara, you got to get the feta, the whipped feta, the beets, and like these little chickpeas, and then you get the pitas, and you just have it mixed.
Yeah.
But it's a great place.
What I just love about Doro, especially coming to fruition last few years, is, as you know, in a way, like I can't imagine life without it now, but we really didn't have a space that was open the hours that they are for food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and take home, and could just be such a gathering spot on
good
that
food
corner.
Too, and
so many of our neighbors can easily walk to it.
And the weather's nice. They put out the outside.
Yeah.
What was cool too? I was a vegetarian for a while, but then I stopped. And then the King of Wrap.
Yes.
Chicken sandwich.
Yes.
I picked it up for my school's right there. So my kid, I forgot what the celebration was, but my teacher friends were celebrating. My third grade team, Leah and Carrie Lynn. They're like, Feeney, we'll order, but you got to pick it up.
Yeah.
So I got it, and I got my chicken sandwich, and on my drive back to Woket from Doro, which is
Not
about
that far.
30 seconds,
Yeah.
I ate the whole chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It was that good.
Yeah.
So, and they were like, you're going to eat with us, right? And I'm like, I kind of already ate, but I'll sit with you and chat. I just couldn't, because they're busy. So
Very busy.
by the time I got it.
Which is why a hot tip is I order ahead.
Yes.
I use Toast Tab for all those Doro lovers out there. I use the Toast Tab because then I can just go pick up my item, especially
Smart.
I'm known to pick up my chai latte before I go to the Capitol. And yeah, that kind of makes my morning.
Do they put the cute little thing on it? Is that the green one? The chai?
No, you're thinking of the matcha probably, right?
But they make the little flower with the foam.
Yes. But yes, that's one of my go-tos.
No, Doro's amazing. What's the take on now? So we have Doro.
Yeah.
We're going to have Dunkin' Donuts.
And
then we're going to have a Starbucks.
I know.
Is that a lot?
It seems we're obsessed with coffee.
People need their coffee.
sitting in Gaster Park and just talking about Purgatory, who also, is getting more business. It seems, we just love our coffee.
Purgatory moved 100 feet away.
Yeah.
And shout out to Alvarium. We're really excited. They're coming in. Alvarium, good stuff. People love coffee.
They do.
So I guess.
And I will say, as I am not a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker. But all these places, they got tea too. So I mean, I definitely am a consumer and a frequent visitor at all these locations. Plus, I think there's something about, again, just the opportunity to gather. All of these spots, are often places where, yes, we get that, kind of joy out of our coffee or tea, but they're often kind of places in our community where we can gather too.
And I love that the Windsor, if you walk in the Windsor, it's across from, it's right next to a bowling alley across from the airport. You walk in, it looks exactly like the West Hartford one. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And they're doing great things because it's busy there now too. So
Correct.
Cheers to Doro. And
cheers to Doro.
They supported our golf tournament. Our first ever Friends of Feeney golf tournament at Goodwin.
Yeah.
Raised $10,000. We helped Rachel Webster. She's a 10-year-old with Ewing sarcoma. All the proceeds went to her. Where Doro made 100 breakfast sandwiches for the golfers.
Awesome.
And they were a huge hit. So thank you, Scott. And then they supported a family. One of my former students, Jason, lost his father, and they had a celebration of life, and they made a nice spread. And Doro, whatever I ask them to, they'll help out. And our 50th podcast at Playhouse on Park, they did the whole spread of amazing food. Well, I'm hungry.
Food is joy.
You get first choice, so whatever you want to do.
I'm going to go in on the croissants.
All right.
To tell you, because
Pal, you want in? I'm going to go on this.
In my house, the Nutella jar often comes out just with a spoon. You don't need to put Nutella on anything. It by itself is. I always thought the rule of
Get it. You already touched it. Now you own that.
podcasting was, not to eat while podcasting. So I love that this is the rule
we're breaking barriers.
Friends of Feeney, that you're supposed to eat while podcasting.
Yeah, full disclosure, we wanted hot basil. I saw Matt today. Matt's my buddy.
Yeah.
At the sledding. So I said, hey, I'm doing a podcast with Kate. He's like, unfortunately, I can't get it till 4:45. I could maybe had Kyle run out and get it, but we picked up Doro.
What do you normally get at hot basil, though? That's what we didn't talk about.
Drunken noodles.
Drunken noodle. With what?
Spicy with chicken. It used to be spicy with tofu, but now it's spicy with chicken.
Wow.
And then, they throw in the dumplings for me. They throw in the spring rolls for me. And then the girls get 2 mango bubble teas. Bridget gets pad thai chicken. Neela gets drunken noodle. She's the vegetarian. Drunken noodle tofu. And my wife loves the chicken soup.
I've never had.
It's not on the menu.
Oh, that's why.
You have to call it. You should call and say you want the chicken soup.
Okay.
The Nicole Feeney special. When she's feeling like sick. One day we got it 3 days in a row.
Does it have dumplings in it?
It has, it's just like chicken, but you can make it, she loves extra cilantro, and it has the noodles, the water noodles, and you could put this, like this little container of spicy food, spicy, like an oily spice, like a chili spice.
Oh, chili oil, probably.
Chili, yeah. You can you sweat.
Right.
Like, nose starts to run, beat it up on your sweat.
That is good to know, because sometimes I get in a mode, to your point. I often want like a wonton soup, and that sounds very similar to what it could be.
No, I would love hot basil. I would have to say, for years, they've been my OG favorite, and my girls go, and we enjoy it. And they're really welcoming and friendly. And I had one of the sons. They have twins.
Did? Oh.
They have twins.
You and the twins. You're finding
Love the
all
twins.
the twins.
Yep, we got to have the twin connection. So speaking of which, next question: favorite restaurant.
Okay, that
Putting you on the spot.
That cannot happen. You know that, Eric. As the state rep for the entire 20th district, there's no way I can choose a favorite.
Maybe one in your hometown, or in New York City, or. Because there's a follow-up question.
Okay. Well, I will say, especially because we're sitting here, I want to choose that we talk about where we're sitting around Gastropark because to me, what's amazing about it is that there's an ever-changing options of food, which I love because I'm someone that I love variety. I love trying new things. And that's what I've loved about the Gastropark concept and them constantly bringing in new food trucks. So I'm going to go with that.
I agree. Well, that's the benefit, and that's what they really have going for them.
Yeah.
Like, they constantly change. Again, I'm a vegetarian. My wife loves pasta. When you come down here, everyone's happy.
Totally.
You want to go there? Here's your $10. You get what you want.
Completely.
You get what you want. You get what you want. And have you tried their smash burgers here?
No.
Oh my. The Brooke Goff was on a podcast, and we tried all three different. They have a patio burger, petition burger, and then I tried to trick her with a McDonald's burger. She didn't fall for it. She knew right away. But these smash burgers are my favorite burger. I'll go on record. They're my favorite burgers. Favorite burgers. And they make a Whopper sauce, but it's homemade.
So they have their own sauce.
Oh, yeah. It's really good. And they have these new shirts now that say Smash Burgers, Pet Dogs, which are really cool.
Which is a good combo.
I just saw that. And I was like,
our dogs have met before.
Yes.
Yes.
Barkley and Lizzie. Lizzie.
I know.
That's what I used to call my sister. My sister's Elizabeth.
Oh.
Dizzy Lizzie.
Yes, Lizzie was all about the snow today already. How about Barkley? Well,
She's
Barkley.
A corgi or something?
She's a corgi. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Barkley. So while I brushed up the cars and did the driveway, he was out in the front.
Yeah.
And the snow was like wet, so it was like sticking to his fur. And then finally he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, I had enough. Like, let me in." And of course, there's no towel at the front door. My wife's on a call with work.
Yeah.
So, I have snow all over my boots. So what do? Just let him go.
Right.
My wife gives me the look like, how dare you let this snow muck-covered dog just in the house and shakes off.
Living his best life.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you. Plus, has Barkley visited the dog park? West Hartford Dog Park?
Yes.
Awesome.
It was really muddy the day we went.
Yeah.
And they had the smaller one and the bigger one.
Right.
But we loved it. It's right by the old St. Bridget's, which is going to be the new
community center.
You want to speak on that? Because aren't you part of that? And
I'd be happy to. So
is that where the $5 million is going?
Well, what happened about 2 years ago is we started talking with the town and the state about really what we could do to support this type of new community center, because what we've often heard in Elmwood especially is Elmwood Community Center does so much, but they're really limited in what they feel they can do because of the space. And one of the things that the town had been talking with residents about is not only do we want a new community center, but how do we bring, a whole range of folks, our seniors and our students and our families together in one space. And that's where the St. Bridget property kind of idea came from, because it had been a school in our community that had closed down, and it was a prime location because it's right next to to our Beachland Park. And so for us at the state level, so myself and the other West Hartford legislators, we were able to secure a state grant of a couple $1 million for the town to then purchase that property. And now the step that the town is going through is they've kind of gathered all this great community feedback on what do we want this center to be, not just in regards to what's in it, like our library and senior center and
teen center,
event space, teen center, but also, how is it a kind of more greener building? How is it connected to the park? And those designs have really come to fruition, and now the town is really working on, what does it look like from kind of a construction time frame. How can we get this done in the next, 3 years, hopefully, and really putting the funding together to build what will be this, kind of transformational project for our community. And I have just been so excited, as you said, to kind of have a small part in that. And I know from a transportation standpoint too, I was just talking with some community members because we want to make sure, for instance, that our bus route, goes over to that location. So that's happening. We want to make sure.
I don't think it's currently a bus route.
No,
right?
it's not.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about making sure that happens. We've been discussing, again, how to make sure that, we could keep the dog park, as a part of that location too.
Is that going to be permanent?
So we're hoping,
That's that's the hope.
Because then, again, it's kind of in all these, again, kind of opportunities for engagement are in one location. So lots to come on that, but I think, again, it just speaks to especially having this, kind of landmark building and a building that's bringing so many people together in Elmwood is just a really exciting thing for the future of our neighborhood. Yeah,
Liam Sweeney's involved too, right?
Yeah, so all of the town council members are very actively involved in this, and it really is, a partnership like many of the projects we do of state funding, of local funding, because, we always want to make sure that these projects, again, kind of have that local town support, but that we can bring some state resources so that, it's not all borne by our property taxes, that we can bring some state resources to bear.
Because former podcast guest,
Yeah.
Liam Sweeney,
Yes.
go back and check it out. And Derek Slapp involved, another
Yes,
podcast
absolutely.
guest.
Yeah,
So what do you rep more, speaking of Derek Slapp,
Sure.
Syracuse guy?
he is.
Do you rep more UConn or Syracuse? Because you're both.
Oh, UConn. Oh my gosh. Especially growing up in Connecticut,
Okay.
going to UConn,
Okay.
being at UConn in, the late 90s, 2001,
How many basketball championships did they
absolute
win?
glory years. I believe, well, between the women and the men, there was probably 3 or 4
Yeah.
during that time frame. So I am UConn through and through.
Okay.
It's kind of weird to mention that I go to Syracuse
I know, you
for
kind of
1
sold
year.
out. Oh, what?
Because my graduate program was 1 year there. So it was a quick moment in Syracuse. And I absolutely, if UConn played Syracuse, there'd be no doubt I'd be wearing the blue and white. Actually,
Nice.
I'm going to the UConn game tomorrow night at XL Center, so I'm very excited about
Oh,
that.
nice. Who is it?
UConn versus DePaul. Yep. So it's
Men's
the
or women's?
men's. It's
Nice.
the last home game
Very cool.
of the season. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to mention,
Yeah.
there was a follow-up question. So you're at
Okay.
Gastro Park.
Oh yeah.
You can eat with 4 guests,
4
dead or
guests.
alive.
Dead or alive.
Who are you eating with?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm gonna try this Nutella. You didn't even.
He asked the hard
You had the
question
croissant stuff.
as-
You
as
just you
soon
left
as
all the
I-
Nutella.
As soon as he's gonna take my Nutella croissant.
Oh, yeah, I'll
and
get my
he
own
asked the
croissant.
hard question.
As I touch yours.
Okay. Let me start with, and then you're gonna have to answer this question too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah. Okay. Has Kyle answered this question before?
Let's ask Kyle.
Because this is a hard question. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get started with this. So I'm gonna say that one of these people, of the 4, actually is someone that's been a part of my life for many years, which is none other than singer-songwriter James Taylor.
Ooh.
Always loved James Taylor. He plays a big role in my life. So
How many times have you been to Tanglewood?
26.
Wait, you've been to. That's it? Just 26?
Just 26.
Oh wow.
Just 26.
Our last podcast guest, Colleen Conway, probably the same.
Really?
Love James Taylor.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So Colleen is probably, yeah, her numbers are probably pretty high too. So I think James Taylor would be on the list. I also think incredible role model inspiration to me, who is Shirley Chisholm, would be on the list. She was such a groundbreaker, the first African American woman in Congress. She, courageously ran for president in the 1970s and just really stood for justice and equity and, didn't take no for an answer. So,
There's a wonderful picture book in the Woolkit Library.
Really? About her?
About her, yep.
Oh, how special. How
It's
special.
like 1976 maybe? Ish.
Yes. Yeah. Rita Moreno. I'm a huge fan of Rita Moreno. For those that don't know, Rita, she is an EGOT. Do you know what an EGOT is? She's one of the few in the world that have won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Gotcha.
And she is the only Latina to have done so. And she is in her early 90s now, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And she has she has way more energy than both of us combined. And she is someone, again, having met her and watched her over the years, she really has the mantra of living life to its fullest and she always says she dances every day. She's often known as starring in West Side Story, the movie, in the 1950s, and that's what she really found fame for. But she's just one of those people I look to, and I think that's who I want to be. When I'm in my 90s, I want to, live that freely. Rita Moreno.
Rita Moreno.
Yes.
All right.
And then the fourth person, actually, speaking of living life to the fullest, I have to say, just on such a personal level now, I actually would bring to that meal one of my dear friends who passed away earlier this January, my colleague, Representative Quentin Williams, who we unfortunately lost. And he was someone who is just a shining light in my life. We were very close friends, and he just in many ways was my biggest cheerleader in my legislative life. And I think of him every day when I go to the legislative building, and really, he was always there with me, trying to cause good trouble, and he was always the life of the party. So to me, and having him a part of that table, we would not only have a great time, but we would, again, kind of come up with some kind of great trouble that we could get into to kind of make the world a better place.
I know, so unfortunate and tragic. I had never met him, but I read so much about him, and we lost a wonderful person, and I'm sorry for your loss, and that's Q.
Yes.
And a lot of people, he left a legacy. So
he did, and we're carrying that on for him. Yeah.
Great choices, really great choices. Sounds like a fantastic dinner. I would love to be there.
Yeah, I think so.
Those are really good answers.
So now you have to answer.
Yeah. What? I've had this before, so I usually go.
You're prepared. Okay.
But I might switch it up sometimes. But I usually go Mr. Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Old Dirty Bastard from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Nice.
Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to throw in Larry Bird now.
Ooh.
Larry Bird is a different one. I usually go, I've said Larry Bird. I've said Michael Jordan. I've said Biggie Smalls. I've said, depends how I'm feeling. Podcasts now, I like, this guy. Bill Simmons does the rewatchables.
Oh, I don't know that.
He rewatches movies.
Okay.
He's really
cool.
Really cool. And then someone that I lost, maybe like my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
I never met my dad's dad, Patrick Feeney, who gives us the Irish heritage.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
that'd be cool to kind of meet him.
What you probably don't know too is I have Irish heritage too.
Come on.
But it's not as recognizable because my last name, Farrar, is my Italian side.
Yep.
But my middle name is Callahan.
Nice.
That's my mother's maiden name.
And they gave you that as your middle name?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like when that happens.
Yeah.
Callahan. That's pretty Irish.
Pretty Irish there.
Are you 50-50, Irish and Italian?
No, I'm more On my dad's side, it was Italian and Lithuanian.
Okay.
And then on my mom's side, it was Irish and German. So I'm kind
Alright.
of split.
I'm
At
very
least from my
similar, so-
knowledge, because I haven't done like the full.
I haven't done it yet either.
You know,
but my
genetic
sister
testing,
did it, so
but-
I'm like, odds are I'm just like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But I get the Feeney name, that's Irish.
Yeah.
And then Italian, and also Lithuanian.
Oh,
Very
my
cool.
gosh.
Subatitis.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hear people think, oh, you're Feeney, you're so Irish, but I love it, and I'm pretty Irish, but Brown, Carmela Brown married Patrick Feeney.
Okay.
And very cool.
Yeah.
All right, learning something new.
I
Kate is
know.
Irish.
That's right.
Remind me, I have a gift.
Oh, what's
This is from Dazzled
Oh, stop.
Creations. Daisy's
is it?
Dazzled Creations.
Oh,
Daisy is a
cool.
coworker of mine.
Okay.
And she made this wonderful keychain.
Oh, nice.
I like to share that with you.
Thank you.
That's from Daisy. She
Thank
works
you,
at
thank
Wolcott
you.
School.
She does?
I taught her
What
daughter.
does she do?
She's
at
a
Wolcott?
teacher's assistant. She's
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you, Daisy.
And then in her time, she does that. And I've been
at
giving
that.
them to guests.
This proves I won't lose my keys. 'Cause
Right?
I can
That
tell
thing's
you,
massive.
I can tell you that is the daily conversation in our house. One would think that you put the keys in the same place all the time, but that only makes sense. So this can definitely help me.
Very cool.
Thank you for that.
And you do have a magnet.
I do.
You do have a
We
magnet.
got it on the fridge at home.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
we
cool.
definitely do.
Very cool. All right, so we got some games.
Okay.
What minute are we, Kyle?
Minute 67 on episode 67.
Whoa.
Minute. When I asked, imagine that. 67 on
You
67.
Knew it. You knew it.
Well, let me just shout out. We won. This is a cool poster. This poster sponsored by Westfield Bank. So thank you,
Awesome.
Westfield Bank, for making this. But Friends of Feeney was favorite nonprofit of the West Hartford
That's right.
2020. Can you see that, Kyle? Favorite nonprofit. So 3 years ago, third place. Last year, second place. This year, first place. All about
Winner, winner,
progress,
chicken dinner.
incremental growth. So as voted by the West Hartford community members, Matt Heller designed this. Matt Heller's on the board. Matt Heller also works for Westfield Bank. Matt Heller takes pictures. Matt Heller runs the website. Matt Heller is a wonderful addition to the Friends of Feeney Board of Directors. He is
Awesome.
It gets overwhelming as a teacher, as a dad,
Of
as
course.
this. And so Matt is a good friend.
You can't do it alone.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Westfield Bank. Wanted to share that.
I love it.
Oh, and then we got some
Oh, yeah,
small
what's this?
state provisions. Curry maple granola.
Ooh.
Thank you, Small State. Kevin's going to be on the podcast soon. Kevin, they're growing. They're moving. All right, so we got that game. Do you want to do
Game.
state game, bird game, crazy questions, or dice game?
State game,
State game.
bird game.
Bird game.
What are the other options?
Dice game.
Dice game.
Crazy questions.
Crazy questions. I want to throw some dice.
All right.
I want the dice game.
Dice game.
Okay.
So this is Let's Talk. This is a learning resource. This is for ages 5 and up.
We like it.
I think you can handle that, right? 5 and up.
Some days I can.
So you're going to roll them.
Other days I'm not so sure.
We'll let you roll.
Okay.
How many you want to roll? There's 6 of them. And then you answer a question. And they're really cool. Get the
Oh, okay.
conversation going.
Okay.
We'll say 4.
4.
So you roll off. I'll roll first.
You roll, please.
I'll roll first, and I will answer a question. Boom.
Okay. You pick one of them?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Borrowed something without asking and broke it. What should you do? Would you rather have a boat or a plane? Oh. All right. I'm going to just stop reading here because I really do want a boat.
You
What
really
food
do
like?
want a boat.
Well, I want a catamaran.
I see.
So the in-laws have a house in Lake George now,
Nice.
on a golf course.
Nice.
And it's like a summer house.
Okay.
And we go to Lake George.
Cool.
And I've never been in my life, and now we
Yeah.
go 3 summers in a row.
Mm.
And we rented a catamaran. No, a pontoon boat. Excuse me, catamaran, not a catamaran.
Okay. Catamaran.
What is a catamaran?
Catamaran requires
yacht? A
a
yacht?
lot more skill.
Okay,
But
not a
as
catamaran.
long as you
Scratch
know.
that, because I have no sailing skills. From Waterbury, we don't get in the water. Pontoon boat. Those are the cool 10-seaters, like surrounded in a couch. You go
Yeah.
zzz out. I want a pontoon boat.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my brother-in-law to go halvesies on a pontoon
Nice,
boat. So I
nice.
would like a boat. Sam, what minute are we so I can show Sam that we're going to get a pontoon boat at Lake George? All right.
Make all your dreams come true.
What food would you like to try? When I broke something, I would just, return it and pay for it. So, Kate's up. Kate's
Okay,
rolling.
I'm up. Okay. What sport or activity do you like and why?
All right.
I have to say what immediately comes to mind is hiking. I love to hike.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a day off and I could pick what I do, it'd probably be hiking. Especially even though we don't have many hills or mountains in Connecticut, for me, I'm one of those people that get a lot of joy out of getting to the top of a mountain or a hill. You know, I like summiting something. And yeah, so any chance that I've had to, again, hike for the day, or especially, multi-day hiking trips, it just,
Have you done Sleepy Mountain, Sleepy Giant in Hamden?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Gillette.
Yes. Yeah.
The one with the H. Hub.
What are you thinking of?
I forgot. Maybe it's not an H, but it's a nice castle. Not.
A nice castle.
Castle Craig.
Castle Craig is a castle.
I don't know.
Hublin?
Yeah, where's that?
That's in Simsbury. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, not that one.
Hublin Tower. It's kind of like a castle.
Yeah, it could be
I
that
think
one.
that's what you're thinking of.
Could be that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you bring Lizzie?
Sometimes. She, as anyone who knows corgis out there, they have little legs. And her max is probably 3 miles round trip. So we do have a backpack for Lizzie. So, if you didn't think corgis are cute, imagine a corgi in a backpack. So that does happen.
Feed it with a bottle, too. Burp it.
I do want to answer a second sport or activity, too, if I can, which is actually bocce, which I would say requires little skill, but it's a whole lot of fun.
Some hand-eye coordination.
And for many years, I actually was on a bocce team. So when I lived in D.C. For many years, I was a part of a team called the Bocce Babes, all-women team, and we played for about 8 years together. And, I'm not saying we won that much, but it certainly was very fun. So for any gathering with groups of people, I'm all up for bocce.
What about your Italian heritage? It's like in the blood, right?
It is.
You should just be. What's that little ball called when you hit the bocce? What's the little?
Ballina.
Yes, the ballina.
Yes, the
I didn't know
ballina.
that at the time, but I knew it had a cool name.
Yeah.
Ballina.
Paulina.
Paulina.
Paulina, yeah.
All right. What holiday do you like best and why? What season? What 3 words best describe you? All right. I'm going to try to name them all. Again, if I broke something, wow, second time.
You're breaking
Jeez.
things.
So I like friendly, kind, funny. Describes me.
Okay.
I love winter. I love being outside today where it was 20 degrees, but you get that sweat going and snow and just my birthday, Christmas, sledding,
all these good
ice
things.
skating, snow. I just like being cold. Winter hats. I love wearing winter hats. Holiday, St. Patrick's Day. Again, as not super Irish, but I do carry the Feeney name, and I'm very proud of it.
Yes. And you have a special reason to be proud.
Yes.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. And St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day, I'm the honoree this year, the parade. I'm very excited. And always loved St. Patrick's Day. So it makes the honoree extra special. St. Patrick's Day. And green's a cool color.
I just realized that, because I know you brought up being from Waterbury before, and we may have
Waterbury.
talked about this, but made me think about it with our heritage again, because my grandparents grew up in Waterbury.
Stop.
So
I knew I liked you.
So and then they moved to Naugatuck, which is where my dad grew up.
That's where my mom and dad grew up.
So
maybe they know each other.
But this Lithuanian thing you got going on.
Whoa.
my grandparents, one was Italian, one was Lithuanian, and they grew up in Waterbury.
Did they go to St. Joseph's Church
They may well have.
in Brooklyn? Brooklyn, Waterbury had a Brooklyn section.
Oh.
They do a Lithuanian mass in
Interesting.
Lithuanian,
Oh my
and there was a
gosh.
Lithuanian club that I used to go to and get in trouble
Really?
for slamming the pool balls into the pool game when my grandfather was drinking.
So it's very possible that
We
like
crossed
our
paths.
relatives
Interesting.
knew each other.
Yeah, I went to St. Joseph's for kindergarten and first grade,
Okay.
and then went to the public school Kingsbury,
Yeah.
and they still do a Lithuanian mass.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Follow up. That'd be great to see
know.
if they know about the Lithuanian mass at St. Joseph's
Yes.
and the Lithuanian club,
Right.
which like burned down maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Waterbury.
Yes. So Waterbury.
We got that going too. Kyle loves
Yes.
every episode. We throw it in there. Colleen Conway
Really?
yesterday was from Waterbury.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. Let's see. This has, what place would you like to visit and why?
Waterbury.
I've been there though. I've been there a lot.
Kidding.
been to the valley a lot in my life. Gosh, what place would I like to visit and why? I'm actually going to immediately go to a place that's been on my list for a really long time, which is actually Japan.
Ooh.
I remember when I started college, again, way back in the day, at UConn, one of my professors, like that first week of school, had us make a list of like, the 10 things we wanted to do, in our lives, like in the next 10 years. And I actually put visit Japan on that list. And obviously it's been more than 10 years. So I've been fortunate enough to travel a lot, but I haven't gone to Japan yet. So I'd really like to make that happen. And speaking of food, I'm a huge sushi fan. So I feel like I would just eat sushi for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that would
Nice.
just be living
Where's your
a dream.
sushi spot around here?
Actually, I head over the mountain and go to Leaky.
Nice.
Leaky Sushi, which is Leaky Asian Bistro. It's over in Avon.
Past Blue Elephant down by the golf course? Or where
no,
is
it's
that?
actually
All
right across from like the Gap and all the shops on
Okay.
44. Yeah.
I like sushi too.
So yes, excellent sushi.
My girls,
So,
when I taught in Waterbury, they didn't get into any pre-Ks.
yeah.
So we filed for out of district to Maloney Magnet School, and they were in pre-K. They took Japanese, so it was
This is
very
the thing.
interesting.
I took Japanese for a year when I was in college, and I remember nothing now. But to your point, like it just was such a fascinating experience, as I'm sure your girls
There were
can
4
speak
counting
to,
to 10 in
right?
Japanese. I was
Because
amazed.
of the characters, and yeah, it just continues to fascinate me. So certainly a hard language to learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's definitely one of the places on my list. I was fortunate a few years ago when I turned 40. I actually got to my 50th state. So
Wow.
I've wonderfully
That's impressive.
been able to, achieve that in a way, which was very exciting. And so now I'm again trying to make sure that I get
Now
to
you
all
got to
these
get to your
cool
50th
places.
country.
Hopefully.
Hit all 50.
A few more than 50. A few more than 50 in the world, but
All
yeah.
50 continents.
I know. One would think.
I do that. That's a teacher move where the kids are like, no.
No.
So it's like
Stop
the Mr. Miyagi.
Stop joking, Mr. Feeney.
Yeah. Well, we're getting down to the end of it. It was a wonderful conversation. We
Yeah.
played games. We ate food. We talked. You have Waterbury connections.
I know.
You're doing wonderful things in West Hartford and Newington. Any recommendations or questions for me? Or
I would just kind of ask you personally, like what you feel like, kind of being a teacher and, being day to day with our students right now as a legislator. What should I know? What do you feel like as a teacher and from our students I need to know the most right now, about?
Yeah, interesting question.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's quick to blame COVID for everything.
Yeah.
Our kids are behind, COVID. Our kids aren't reading, COVID. We're overwhelmed, COVID. But I think it's time to move past that. And only we can't really change the past. So what can you do to like help with, I don't know, I feel like we're funded with supplies and technology. I hate to say, but like, I'm going to throw out a few.
Okay, go for it.
Teacher pay,
Yeah, exactly.
smaller class sizes.
Exactly.
You've heard them all before.
Keep 'em coming.
Smaller class sizes, more support, like based on like I have a lot of needs
Right.
in my room: behavior needs, language needs, learning needs, social needs, academic needs, and and another adult would be helpful.
Yeah.
But again,
We're
making it
like
work.
Particularly a
Yeah.
paraeducator, right?
And it's
Or-
weird that
Yeah.
there's a, I hate to say it, but it's like a revolving door.
Yes.
They're coming in and out. I get to know one, train one, get to know them, train one, and they constantly in and out.
Yeah.
So some consistency there.
Yep.
But best job in the world. I wouldn't change it for anything. I'm going in 20 years. And it's getting challenging. It's not
is.
getting any easier, that's
Right.
for sure.
Right.
But I love it. And
And we want you to be able to have that feeling 20 years from now. And that's why,
Yeah.
as you said, we can't kind of take our teachers for granted. I think
Yeah.
that is kind of anything we've learned through COVID, and we can't lose sight of that. And, it's kind of not out of bounds to say that teachers should be paid more, from
Yeah.
the standpoint of what you're doing as one of the most, essential roles in our society. Teacher pay absolutely needs to be something that's on the table.
And don't get me wrong, I'm living very.
Oh, sure.
I'm not saying that I'm not getting paid. I don't
Yeah.
want to go on record
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
we have a roof over our head. We're doing well. And then you have the people, my buddies in my fantasy football league.
Yeah.
They're like firefighters, policemen, and they're like, oh, teachers, you get summers off, you get the weekends, you get snow days, and you get
But
paid
let's
this,
be
this,
real.
and this.
During the school year, you work
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly. It's not a 9 to 5 type of job ever.
No.
Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
I'm planning Sunday night. I'm planning every night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you said about class sizes, because I think, everything we know from the research, really points to that the key to our kids' success is small class sizes. And one of the ways that we can ensure that exists is to have more teachers in our state. I think one of the things, as you noted, not just paraeducators, but we're at a real crossroads around recruiting new teachers. And one of the things we've been talking up at the legislature about is, what are those pathways to to becoming a teacher, so that they're more flexible for folks that might be working and want to become a teacher, or
Yeah.
are a paraeducator and want to become a teacher. And because as you know, going through the certification process, it's not that we want to diminish what it would mean to become a teacher, but we have to make sure that folks, who are working, full-time jobs and, kind of managing those responsibilities, could really think about, pursuing a career in teaching, and that we're getting into more high schools to encourage, teaching as a profession. And, we can't kind of have an instance where we're kind of losing teachers and then again not training folks, to become teachers.
Yeah, and it's like, what was I going to say? I lost it. You hit something on the head.
Teacher.
Teachers.
About training teachers or paraeducators becoming teachers, or the certification to becoming a teacher.
Oh, yeah, when I first got started, I forgot what we were going to say.
That's okay.
But again, greatest job in the world.
Yeah.
Make a difference. It's something new every day.
Right.
I laugh every day.
Right.
Kids say the darndest things. Making a difference. I make connections. So 3rd grade. Part of me now, I'm getting a little older. 3rd grade, and my girls are getting older.
Yeah.
So 3rd grade's seeming more and
younger.
more younger.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're making it work.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love my commute to work. I love my
Right.
principal. I love my coworkers. It's just it's a special place,
Yeah.
very special place. And
And
yeah.
as you said at
the
the
next time you come visit, come on, you got to
I
come
know,
swing by.
And we all
115.
have those teachers, right, that are just so cemented in our memories.
Yeah. And I hope someday, 20 years from now, some of my students go on a podcast, and when they're asked who their
Completely.
favorite teacher is,
they need
maybe
you.
1 or 2 say
Exactly.
Mr. Feeney.
That would make it all worth it. That'd make it all worth it.
Great question. Wonderful topics. Great discussion. Thank you for being a guest.
Yeah,
Thank you for being a good friend.
Absolutely. Thank you for spreading, again, friendship and kindness, and that's what we can do when we wake up every day. You know, if there's one thing we can do, right, it's to
Yep.
be kind to one another.
I love it. Any closing remarks?
I would just say, you know, keep doing what you're doing, Eric. You know, you're such a shining light in our community, and for anyone listening, you know, it's the little things, right, that you can do every day to make a difference. But don't hesitate to kind of use your voice, and that's where I come in. So if there's anything that you have an idea about, or you think we should be doing differently in our community or in our state, you know, I'm all ears, because that's what I'm there for. I'm really there to listen and be a champion for our community.
Yeah, thank you. Want to share your email and phone number again?
Sure. So you can always contact me on my email, which is kate.farrar, F as in Frank, ARRAR @cga.ct.gov, or my phone number, which you can always call at the Capitol, which is 860-240-8585. And you can follow me on all the socials, even TikTok, scaringly enough, at Kate4CT. So
Nice.
check out those
All right,
videos.
let's do a TikTok dance right now.
We should.
Break one out right now.
We should.
I've never done one. I don't think I ever will. Again, great talking with. Maybe we'll do a cut promo at the end. We'll do a TikTok. Go.
Or what we think TikTok dance would be, I think, is the heart of us old people trying to do TikTok.
Just like, get it. Well, Kate.
And thank you to Doro. Yes, cheers to Doro.
Yep. And thank you to Gastro Park.
Yes.
Thank you to Direct Line Media. Thank you, Keating Agency Insurance, Golf Law Group, The Fix IV, Weehaw Lock, Weehaw Roasting and Brewing, Gastro Park, Donut Crazy, and Kyle. Well, thank you,
Who
Kate.
next time will have to answer
Yes.
that who at the dinner party question, because he got out of it this time.
So on 3, we'll say be a good friend. 1, 2, 3. Be a good friend.